even when you're fully able to draw your own artwork, there will come the time when you will not do it. Probably because you just lack the time. And then you resort to Clipart. When using Illustrator, this is pretty simple, and it probably has never been an issue for you to just download it and use it. But what about Affinity? Is it the same situation? Can you use any Clipart? Let's take a look at that. Hello and welcome to the Vector Garden. We'll dive into Clipart. So here you see the typical kind of clip art that I personally wouldn't draw. This is the lighting, and it's pretty impressive. And this is made by Matt Cole for Vectisicom, and it has been prepared with a checkered background. So I can assume it's transparent, and I can put my own background behind that, and it will look just nice. Let's check this out in Affinity. I have already downloaded it, and here we go. There is this clip art. I'm going to open it in Affinity. It looks a little funny with these white lines here. What's up with it? Going into the layer. Let's see. This looks kind of funny, and let's just grab it and move it to the side, and you see this is not right. And when we look up here, we see it's an image at 300 ppi. So I cannot exchange that background, and I can't even enlarge the thing because 300 ppi is not enough for enlarging it. So why is that happening? Let's check this out in Illustrator. I'm going to zoom into that. Looks completely different. And when we take a look at the layers, then you see we've got the single layers. We can turn off those light things, and down here we have that checkered background. And most probably I could just draw something, and I'm going to apply this gradient to it, and let's just take that and move it to the bottom. And you see we've got these lighting effects. Nice. But why does that work in Illustrator and not in Affinity? The thing with EPS is that Illustrator is able to save EPS in a very specific way. Those files have two parts. There's an EPS part, and there's a fully editable Illustrator file embedded into that. When opening this EPS, then Illustrator just goes straight for the Illustrator file and opens that. Doesn't even touch the EPS. That is not possible in Affinity. Affinity cannot open AI files. It can only open the EPS file, and it does open that, and that's what you have seen. EPS does not support transparency, blend modes, reduced opacity, and all that stuff. It has been flattened, so that's the result that you have seen. What does that mean? I'm going to delete this. So maybe you have a huge archive of this kind of files. Can you use them at all in Affinity? Let's zoom into here, and I'm going to outline view, and you see how this is built. It's pretty complex. We have, for instance, a mesh in here. So let's select the direct selection tool. There we have mesh points. So this is a gradient mesh. That's something you cannot transfer at all from one to the other application. I have made a video about that I'm going to link in the description. And then, of course, we have other things here, all that transparency, all these black elements that you would build completely differently. And then we have this here, which is an expanded blend. And it would be pretty complicated to build this in a way that you could save it and then use it in Affinity. It would be the better option to create this completely from scratch in Affinity. What does that mean for your search for Clipart? Files like this, you would need to search for Affinity files. Probably SVG files could work, but they could not be as complex as these because, again, the limit would be gradient meshes. And then, of course, when the file is only available as EPS, you would need to be careful and look what's in it. So let's take a look at that again. I'm going to close this one. We have this one here, for instance. That looks very complex as well, but it's just a huge number of shapes which are completely flat. So this file works in Affinity. So let's take a look at it and open that in Affinity. And when we take a look in the outline view, the wireframe, then you see nothing has been rasterized in it. It's a huge number of shapes, obviously, but that's it. It will work. Let's go back to Vecteezy. In these files, you would have to search for stuff that does not contain transparency. So this probably has a gradient in the back, which would work as well. And this is flat. These are flat, but these probably contain transparency in those glowing lights up there. That's what you would need to watch out for. How is that built? Let's take a look at some more. So these are the lights, and the vast majority of these will not work because all of them contain transparency, and then as EPS files would be flattened, and then you cannot use them.